Picture this. You're soaring over the Aegean Sea. The islands below look like gems scattered across blue velvet. The sun glistens on the water, and somewhere down there, a fisherman is yelling at seagulls for stealing his catch. Everything feels peaceful. It looks like paradise. But then, ping. A radar locks onto you. Alarms echo in underground bunkers, and suddenly, that postcard view has turned into the opening scene of a very short disaster movie. Because here's the truth, Greece's skies are not just skies, they're a fortress. Entering them uninvited is like trying to walk into a Greek family dinner and saying, "Actually, I don't like feta." You won't just be stopped, you'll be force-fed until you admit you were wrong. And by the end of the night, you'll be singing folk songs while trying to dodge flying plates. Let's start with geography, because honestly, nature already gave Greece half the fortress for free. With over 2,000 islands, around 227 of them inhabited, and a coastline stretching 13,600 kilometers, Greece isn't just hard to invade, it's a logistical nightmare. Each island is a little watchtower, a floating checkpoint, or in some cases, an armed outpost. Some of these islands are so close to Turkey that you could literally swim across in less than an hour, which means the defense line isn't just on the mainland, it's scattered across the sea like a web. Combine that with rugged mountains, valleys, and forests on the mainland, and you've got one of the most complex defense landscapes in Europe. Flying low through the Aegean is like trying to sneak into a taverna when the owner's your cousin. Someone will see you, someone will call grandma, and suddenly the entire village knows you're there. But if geography sets the stage, history writes the script. The Greeks practically invented fortress warfare. Think of the long walls of Athens that connected the city to its port of Piraeus, turning it into one massive fortified zone. Or the legendary stand of King Leonidas and his 300 Spartans at Thermopylae, where a narrow mountain pass turned into an impenetrable shield against a vastly larger army. These aren't just stories, they're the blueprint of Greek strategy. Fast forward 2,500 years, and the principle hasn't changed. Only now the walls aren't stone. They're layers of radars, missile systems, and fighter jets. The Spartans once said, "Molon Labe, come and take them." Today, Greece says, "Come and fly in and watch how fast you don't make it back out." Now, let's peel back the layers of this modern filo-pastry fortress. At the outer edge, you have the S-300 PMU-1 system, based on Crete. These long-range guardians can track up to 100 targets simultaneously and strike aircraft or ballistic missiles at 150 kilometers away. That means, if you're even thinking about approaching, Greece already has you painted on radar. Fun fact, these systems were originally purchased by Cyprus in the 1990s, but caused so much tension with Turkey that they were quietly moved to Greece. Today, they're a cornerstone of Greece's outer shield. Next layer? The Americans step in with the Patriot PAC-3 systems. These cover the middle ranges, able to intercept aircraft at 160 kilometers and ballistic missiles at around 60 kilometers. They're deployed on the mainland and critical islands, forming a second wall of defense. And if, by some miracle, you slip past those, the short-range interceptors are waiting. Greece operates about 25 Torum 1 units and 40 OSA-AK/AKM systems, perfect for swatting down drones, cruise missiles, and low-flying aircraft. Think of it as a layered nightclub security system. The tall guy at the door checks you first, the inside bouncers check you again, and then there's always a grumpy uncle in the back, arms crossed, waiting to toss you out if you cause trouble. But missiles are only half the story. The other half is the watchful eyes of Greece's radar network. With more than 20 advanced radar stations across the mainland and islands, Greece's operators can see everything from the Ionian Sea to the far reaches of the Aegean. And these aren't just for show, they're linked directly into NATO's wider integrated air and missile defense system. So when something pops up on radar, it's not only Athens that knows about it, but Brussels, Washington, and pretty much every NATO command center. They say if a pigeon sneezes over roads, someone in a bunker already has its flight path mapped out. And given how often Turkish jets fly into disputed zones, those radar operators get more action than most air forces see in a year. Of course, the sharpest spear in this fortress is the Hellenic Air Force. With about 230 combat aircraft, it's one of the strongest air fleets in Europe. The backbone is the 153 F-16s, many now being upgraded to the advanced F-16 the Viper standard, with new radars, improved targeting systems, and electronic warfare gear that lets them fight in the most demanding conditions. Then there are the crown jewels, 24 Rafale F-3R fighters from France, armed with Meteor missiles that can knock targets out of the sky from 150 kilometers away. These are game changers, aircraft so advanced that once they're airborne, very few opponents in the region can even dream of matching them. Add to that the 30 Mirage 2005s, still highly capable and optimized for maritime strikes, and you have an air force that can both defend its skies and project power across the region. And here's where the human factor makes it all even sharper. Greek pilots aren't just well-trained, they're battle-forged. They spend their careers in real-world confrontations, scrambling to intercept Turkish jets almost daily. NATO officials have joked for years that the Aegean is the most active air combat zone in Europe outside of wartime. This isn't practice. This isn't simulation. This is real cat and mouse, radar locks, split-second maneuvers, and the kind of adrenaline that no video game can replicate. The result? Some of the most skilled and aggressive pilots NATO has to offer. If you want a pilot who can handle pressure, give you one from the Aegean. They've practically turned dogfighting into a national sport. So why all this investment? Geography explains part of it, but neighbors explain the rest. Greece doesn't just protect its own airspace, it protects Europe's southern gateway. Nearly 20% of global trade passes through the eastern Mediterranean, and Greece sits right in the middle of it. And then there's the obvious, tensions with Turkey. From maritime borders to island sovereignty to who invented baklava first, the disputes never seem to end. So Greece prepares for the worst, because when your neighbor keeps climbing over the fence, you don't just build a lock, you build fortress walls, install cameras, add motion sensors, and maybe buy a few extra Rafales, just in case. What makes Greece's air defense so intimidating isn't just the technology, it's the doctrine. This is layered defense at its best. Long-range systems catch intruders early. Patriots sweep the middle zone. TORS and OSAS swat anything sneaky down low. Radars watch 24/7, feeding real-time data to NATO. And the Air Force stands ready to scramble at a moment's notice. It's a seamless, overlapping net with no gaps. Imagine the walls of Sparta, reborn in the skies, but this time the spears fly at Mach 3. So, let's wrap this up. Greece's air defense isn't invincible. No fortress ever truly is. But it is one of the toughest shields in Europe. Geography makes it difficult, history makes it determined, technology makes it deadly, and the pilots make it personal. From the long walls of Athens to the missile batteries of today, Greece has never stopped building fortresses. Only now, those fortresses stretch into the clouds. And maybe that's the most fitting tribute to Greece's past. Once, Zeus hurled thunderbolts from Mount Olympus to strike down his enemies. Today, Greece hurls meteors from Rafales and interceptors from Patriots. Different weapons, same message: stay out of our skies. So, if you're ever tempted to fly in uninvited, remember this: the only Greek welcome you'll get isn't feta and ouzo. It's a radar lock, a pair of F-16s, and possibly a missile screaming your way. Because in Greece, the skies aren't just blue, they're fortified, layered, and waiting.